Case study, Natal to Navamsha Nakshatra, Pada analysis for Maria Ascendant in first house, Capricorn and Uttara Ashadha Nakshatra, third Pada Navamsha Aquarius, first house. Natal chart expression, outer self, Capricorn and Uttara Ashadha, third Pada. Maria's ascendant lies in Capricorn, a cardinal earth sign ruled by Saturn. This immediately gives her an outer presence that is serious, grounded, and composed. Capricorn ascendants often present themselves with maturity beyond their years, appearing dependable, quietly ambitious, and reserved in their demeanor. There's a constant striving for structure, recognition, and long-term results. Uttara Ashadha Nakshatra, ruled by the sun, adds a dignified, righteous, and purposeful quality to her Capricorn nature. This nakshatra amplifies the will to succeed, but not through aggression, instead through consistency and adherence to moral principles. Maria likely carries a quiet nobility and strength that draws respect from others, even when she remains understated in her self-presentation. The third Pada, falling in the Aquarius Navamsha, introduces a deeper layer of innovation, idealism, and social responsibility. While Capricorn seeks control and legacy, Aquarius is futuristic and systems-minded. This fusion suggests that Maria's outer personality is disciplined, formal, and purposeful, yet she may carry progressive ideas or visionary goals beneath the surface. She blends tradition with reform, respecting structures but seeking to evolve them. Others may see her as a reliable leader with a hidden layer of original thinking or social vision. Navamsha chart expression, inner self, a first house. Internally, Maria is shaped by Aquarius, a fixed air sign ruled by Saturn and co-ruled by Rahu. This indicates that her inner world values objectivity, intellectual independence, and collective betterment. While she externally upholds duty and reputation, inside she craves authentic freedom, innovation, and humanistic purpose. Key inner traits include a deeply analytical and reformist mind, often preoccupied with justice, equity, or global concerns. A subtle detachment emotionally, enabling her to assess situations with clarity, but sometimes leaving her emotionally isolated. An innate resistance to authority structures, even as she externally conforms to them, indicating a soul working toward internal autonomy. With Aquarius rising in the Navamsha, Maria's true soul identity is not just about climbing to the top, it's about changing the system from within. Integration. Steadfast structure meets revolutionary spirit outward expression, Capricorn Uttara Ashadha third Pada. Maria is seen as someone who holds it all together, a composed, diligent individual who follows through, sets standards, and builds patiently. There's an air of solemnity, dependability, and righteous leadership to her presence. But it's not rigid. Her third Pada hint at the underlying influence of intellect, experimentation, and reform. Inward reality, Aquarius Navamsha's house. Maria's internal compass is guided by vision, truth, and innovation. She wants to liberate herself and others from oppressive or outdated systems. At her core, she is more idealistic than she appears, more radical than she lets on, and deeply committed to humanity's progress. Core conflict. Externally, Maria plays by the rules, but internally, she questions them. She appears responsible and traditional, but she's wired to reshape systems, not just operate within them. This can create internal tension. How much rebellion is too much? How much conformity is too stifling? Karmic lesson. To become a bridge between tradition and progress. Maria is here to demonstrate that lasting change is built through discipline, not chaos, and that social leadership doesn't require abandoning structure, but refining it with a visionary spirit. Summary of Ascendant synthesis. Maria embodies the principle of integrity with innovation. She walks into the world with poise, restraint, and accountability, yet her inner self is quietly dreaming of something bigger, freer, and fairer. Her life path involves earning trust within traditional structures, then gradually influencing those very systems with her insight, originality, and evolved perspective. Her evolution lies in embracing her authentic reformist nature, not as a rejection of structure, but as its future-oriented evolution. When this Capricorn-Aquarius fusion is harmonized, Maria becomes a quiet revolutionary, one who leads with patience, builds with principle, and reforms with wisdom. Fourth house, Sun in Aries, Bharani Nakshatra, first Pada, Navamsha Leo, seventh house. Natal chart expression, outer self, Sun in Bharani, first Pada, fourth house. Maria's sun in Aries sits powerfully exalted, showing an energetic and courageous personality core. In the fourth house, the sun brings visibility and leadership into the domain of home, inner emotional life, heritage, and psychological foundations. Her sense of self is deeply tied to legacy, personal values, and the drive to create a stable but vibrant inner world. Placed in Bharani Nakshatra, ruled by Venus, there's a distinct karmic flavor of creation, birth, and responsibility. Bharani is intense. It deals with carrying, enduring, and transforming. In the first pada, aligned to Aries Navamsha, it strengthens the solar qualities of drive, ambition, and assertion. Maria likely possesses a strong inner authority shaped by early life or maternal-paternal expectations, a natural inclination to be the leader within her private or domestic environment, possibly feeling a need to carry the family emotionally or structurally, a fierce pride in her roots, home, or upbringing, but also an urgency to evolve beyond them and make something of her own. Navamsha expression, inner self, sun in Leo, 7th house. The sun lands in Leo in the Navamsha, its own sign, giving it sovereignty, charisma, and a stable sense of purpose. In the 7th house, the focus of Maria's inner self is relationship, mirroring, and co-creation. Her soul seeks recognition and purpose through partnership, not dependency, but mutual empowerment. This placement reinforces an internal need to be admired or respected in one-on-one dynamics, whether personal or professional. A karmic orientation toward leading in collaborative settings. She may unconsciously draw people who help her access her leadership. A powerful desire to balance self-identity with meaningful commitment, forging royal, dignified, yet warm bonds. Integration. Inner royalty, outer responsibility. Outwardly, 4th house Bharani sun, Maria carries herself with intense inner strength, forged through both emotional legacy and personal resolve. She may appear composed and dutiful on the surface, but there's raw fire and pride underneath. She's someone who creates from within, manifesting external outcomes by grounding deeply into her emotional base. Inwardly, Leo Navamsha, 7th house. Internally, she is deeply committed to expressing herself through conscious collaboration. She values those who see her inner worth and seeks partnerships that reflect her personal sovereignty, not diminish it. Core conflict. Maria's sun wants to build from within and stay anchored in her emotional power, 4th house, but her inner sun longs for external validation and shared spotlight, 7th house Leo. This can create tension between the need to retreat and the urge to radiate. Karmic lesson. To learn that personal foundation and external recognition can coexist. Her soul path involves anchoring her confidence so deeply in her values, 4th house, that she can shine fully and share her light, 7th house, without feeling compromised. Summary of solar integration for Maria. Maria's sun reveals a powerful bridge between emotional sovereignty and relational brilliance. She is designed to lead from the heart, but only after she has forged herself in the crucible of emotional grounding and private strength. Her true magnetism awakens when she owns both her inner fire and her capacity to shine with others, not apart from them. This sun placement elevates her to become a queen of both home and horizon, unshakable within, inspiring without. 5th house, Mercury and Venus in Taurus, Kritika Nakshatra Mercury, 2nd pada, Navamsha Capricorn, 12th house, Venus, 4th pada, Navamsha Pisces, 2nd house. Mercury in 5th house, Kritika Nakshatra, 2nd pada, Navamsha Capricorn, 12th house. Natal chart expression, outer mind, Mercury in Taurus, Kritika 2nd pada. Maria's Mercury in the 5th house gives her a creative, expressive intellect, naturally inclined toward artistic communication, intelligent romance, and playful yet structured thought. In Kritika Nakshatra, ruled by the sun, Mercury here becomes sharp, incisive, and no-nonsense. The 2nd pada, aligned to Virgo Navamsha, emphasizes precision and clarity, making her an eloquent speaker and critical thinker. There's a discriminating quality in how she communicates emotions or creative ideas. She's selective about how much of her mental world she shares, and tends to lean toward functional expression over flamboyance. Navamsha chart expression, inner voice, Mercury in Capricorn, 12th house. Internally, Mercury in Capricorn's 12th house gives her a solitary thinker's mind. Her core processing happens in private, often absorbed in reflection, analysis, or internal commentary. There's a disciplined mental solitude, where silence and distance often help her clarify what she truly thinks. This placement reveals a love for mental retreat or writing, intellectual detachment from social chaos she may process later and deeply, occasional difficulty verbalizing emotions, though she understands them thoroughly within. Venus in 5th house, Kritika Nakshatra, 4th Pada, Navamsha Pisces, 2nd house, natal chart expression, outer love, Venus in Taurus, Kritika 4th Pada. Maria's Venus is in its own Taurus, which gives it strength, grace, and sensuality. In the 5th house, this placement makes her romantic, expressive, and artistically gifted. She values elegance, stability, and beauty in relationships and creative pursuits. Kritika's 4th Pada, mapped to Pisces Navamsha, adds a mystical, imaginative, and emotionally sensitive tone. Though she appears earthy and composed, her aesthetic and romantic taste is soft, spiritual, and dreamy beneath the surface. She blends passion with compassion, craving not just pleasure but soulful bonds. Navamsha chart expression, inner values, Venus in Pisces, 2nd house. Venus in Pisces is exalted, and in the 2nd house, it emphasizes emotional richness in values, speech, and personal worth. Maria's inner self thrives on beauty, music, poetry, and emotional resonance. She has a devotional quality in love and art, and a karmic orientation toward giving voice to the heart. This suggests financial and artistic gifts rooted in sensitivity, a strong sense of inner wealth that doesn't rely on material security alone, a tendency to romanticize love or memory, sometimes blurring lines between fantasy and reality. Synthesis. Communicative depth meets emotional artistry. Outwardly, Maria appears articulate and refined, with clear thinking, Mercury, and a measured romantic aesthetic, Venus in Taurus. Inwardly, she holds a private, serious mind, Capricorn, Mercury in 12th, paired with a spiritually lush inner heart, Pisces, Venus in 2nd. Core tension. Her mind, Mercury, may doubt what her heart, Venus, feels, especially because Mercury is practical and withdrawn while Venus is poetic and yearning. There can be a gap between logic and longing, or what she says versus what she truly desires. Karmic lesson. To learn that the voice of love doesn't always need to be dissected. Maria is meant to merge logic and love, grounding her expressive gifts with discipline, while letting herself be guided at times by inner melody, not method. Summary. Maria is both a disciplined thinker and a romantic creator. Her creative power lies in translating deep emotional truths, Venus, through structured intellect, Mercury. Whether in speech, relationships, or the arts, she brings a blend of integrity and imagination that can transform how others perceive love, value, and self-worth. 5th house, Mars and Saturn in Taurus, Rohini Nakshatra. Mars, 2nd Pada, Navamsha Taurus. 4th house Saturn, 3rd Pada, Navamsha Gemini, 5th house. Mars in 5th house, Rohini Nakshatra. 2nd Pada, Navamsha Taurus, 4th house. Natal chart expression, outer drive, Mars in Taurus, Rohini 2nd Pada. Maria's Mars in Taurus stabilizes its usual aggression, channeling energy into perseverance, creative output, and tangible results. In the 5th house, Mars fuels passion for performance, leadership in love, and initiative in artistic ventures. Rohini, ruled by the moon, is a fertile, alluring, and deeply sensual nakshatra. The 2nd Pada, aligned with Taurus Navamsha, reinforces a grounded, materialistic impulse. This Mars prefers slow but firm pursuit of its goals, especially in creative, romantic, or intellectual contexts. She's persistent in matters of love and expression, subtle yet commanding. She does not easily give up. Navamsha chart expression, inner drive, Mars in Taurus, 4th house. Here, Mars carries its outer expression into the 4th house, emphasizing a deep need for emotional anchoring and private control. Maria may direct energy toward home building, inner security, and emotional independence, although this can manifest as stubborn self-reliance or territorial protectiveness. This configuration suggests creative instincts rooted in emotional security, passion ignited when comfort and control are threatened, a strong attachment to personal values and emotional sanctuaries. Saturn in 5th house, Rohini Nakshatra, 3rd Pada, Navamsha Gemini, 5th house, natal chart expression, outer restraint, Saturn in Taurus, Rohini 3rd Pada. Saturn in the 5th house in Taurus shows a cautious, structured approach to expression, romance, and risk-taking. In Rohini, it gains a sensual yet responsible tone, placing high value on stability and predictability in relationships. The 3rd Pada, mapped to Gemini Navamsha, brings mental alertness into the picture. It grants Maria a serious yet inquisitive nature, where she may appear reserved outwardly, but constantly analyzes, evaluates, and intellectualizes emotional or creative interactions. She may express herself with strategic charm, always aware of consequences. Navamsha chart expression, inner discipline, Saturn in Gemini, 5th house. Internally, Saturn remains in the 5th house, but now colored by Gemini's cerebral dualistic lens. Her inner self seeks to master expression, particularly in communication, storytelling, or instruction. This position indicates a karmic lesson involving learning to relax into spontaneity without guilt, balancing the urge to control outcomes with authentic emotional openness, cultivating a disciplined artistic or intellectual craft over time. Synthesis. Earthy passion meets mental restraint. Mars brings steadfast action, pleasure-seeking, and creative fire through Taurus's endurance. Saturn overlays it with deliberation, depth, and emotional calculation, especially around love, performance, or progeny. Together, they may create inner tension between impulse and inhibition, but also the power to build creative empires slowly and successfully. Core tension. Mars wants to enjoy and pursue. Saturn wants to wait and build. Maria may feel like she's too intense or too reserved, depending on the setting, but this polarity forces integration, teaching her how to act with intention, not excess. Karmic lesson. To find power in pacing and realize that both pleasure and responsibility can coexist, especially when it comes to expressing love, art, and leadership. Summary. Maria's Mars-Saturn combination in the 5th shows a soul sculpting herself through controlled expression. She is not flamboyant, but steadily magnetic, the kind of person whose creativity, passion, and seriousness deepen with time, making her a force of substance in all she chooses to express. 5th house, Rahu in Taurus, Mrigashira Nakshatra Rahu, 1st Pada Navamsha Leo, 7th house. Rahu in 5th house, Mrigashira Nakshatra, 1st Pada Navamsha Leo, 7th house. Natal chart expression, outer desire, Rahu in Taurus, Mrigashira 1st Pada. Rahu in the 5th house expresses a karmic pull toward recognition, romantic entanglements, creative exploration, and personal validation. In Taurus, Rahu seeks material beauty, aesthetic stability, and sensual indulgence. But with Mrigashira's influence, this craving becomes restless, curious, and intensely flirtatious. Mrigashira, ruled by Mars, imparts a mental wanderlust and obsessive pursuit of stimulation, intellectually, emotionally, and sexually. The 1st Pada, falling in Aries Navamsha, intensifies Rahu's need to conquer and possess novelty in love, creativity, or children. It gives a hunter's mind, restless in romance and constantly analyzing and searching for the one, experience, idea, or thrill that will satisfy a void of validation. Maria may have an innate charm and youthfulness, attracting attention easily, but the inner desire for admiration or uniqueness in romantic contexts may never feel fully satisfied. Navamsha chart expression, inner projection, Rahu in Leo, 7th house. In the Leo Navamsha, Rahu takes on a dramatic, performative, and partner-oriented inner life. While she may not overtly demand the spotlight, there's an internal hunger to be seen and celebrated, especially within relationships. She's drawn to powerful or influential partners, or unconsciously projects a persona of being the ideal romantic interest or artistic genius. Placed in the 7th house in the D9, Rahu's energy seeks fulfillment through the mirror of the other. This shows karmic lessons around projection and expectation in partnerships, attracting partners with Leo traits, pride, creativity, charisma, and learning how not to lose oneself in their glow, embracing her own inner majesty rather than needing validation externally. Psychological synthesis. This Rahu placement creates a personality who is deeply invested in the art of becoming desirable, through wit, seduction, or artistic brilliance. Yet it also sets up a karmic tension between external adoration and inner emptiness. In early years, Maria might chase ideal love, fame, or admiration, thinking it will fill a creative void. But her evolution lies in becoming the source of light rather than seeking it, particularly in romantic and collaborative realms. Karmic lesson. To master the ego-driven craving for applause and instead channel creative and romantic energy into something authentic, playful, and soul-satisfying. Rahu here teaches that being seen is not the same as being known, and that self-acceptance is the first step to true intimacy. Summary: Rahu in the 5th and Mrigashira 1st pada with a Leo Navamsha echo gives Maria a performer's karma, whether as an artist, lover, or parent. She is wired to experiment, charm, and innovate, but must watch the line between genuine expression and attention-seeking mimicry. Her growth lies in transforming fascination into purpose and flirtation into devotion. 6th house, Jupiter in Gemini, Ardra Nakshatra. Jupiter, 3rd pada, Navamsha Aquarius, 1st house. Jupiter in 6th house, Ardra Nakshatra, 3rd pada, Navamsha Aquarius, 1st house. Natal chart expression, outer function, Jupiter in Gemini, Ardra 3rd pada. Jupiter placed in the 6th house traditionally faces challenges in fully expressing its benefic nature. Yet in Gemini and Ardra Nakshatra, it adopts the role of a disruptive teacher, intellectual reformer, and karmic counselor. Ardra, ruled by Rudra, storm god, and the planet Rahu, introduces themes of destruction, crisis, and renewal. The 3rd pada, falling in Libra Navamsha, refines this placement with diplomatic, justice-oriented, and aesthetic intelligence. Here, Jupiter's wisdom is forged through service, often involving conflict resolution, mental health advocacy, social critique, or linguistic skill. Maria may question traditional ideologies, push for new ethical paradigms, serve as a rational yet emotionally intense advisor in dysfunctional systems, healthcare, justice, education. This Jupiter isn't about blind faith, it's about learning through chaos. Ardra's storm breaks illusions, and Maria is likely to face or help others through psychological breakdowns that precede breakthroughs. Navamsha chart expression, inner nature, Aquarius, 1st house. In Aquarius Navamsha, Jupiter reveals Maria's innate humanitarian, intellectual, and visionary disposition. Placed in the 1st house, it gives a natural inclination toward guidance and mentorship, especially of progressive or marginalized voices, pursuing innovative solutions to social or systemic injustices, embodying truth as a lived principle rather than a spoken doctrine. This Jupiter seeks to redefine collective norms, but through an independent, cool-headed, and reformist internal character. While externally she may be caught in the chaos of the 6th house Ardra dynamics, inwardly she holds an ideal of universal upliftment and cosmic fairness. Psychological synthesis. Maria's mind is both analytical and philosophical, capable of teaching from trauma. She is designed to bring intellect into service, not for ego, but to solve real suffering. Jupiter in Ardra struggles until it learns to accept imperfection as part of the plan, and Aquarius D9 placement helps her project detachment and objectivity, even when emotions are intense. Karmic lesson: to transmute chaotic intellectual energy into coherent, useful systems of knowledge. To avoid the trap of righteous overanalysis and instead adopt the Aquarian grace of inclusive leadership, where wisdom serves not the self, but the system. Summary: Jupiter in the 6th house in Ardra Nakshatra gives Maria a stormy path to wisdom, but one that can radically help others heal, awaken, or think anew. With Aquarius rising in the D9, her soul path is that of the visionary reformer, who uses both breakdown and brilliance to reconstruct the world more justly. 10th house, Moon in Libra, Vishaka Nakshatra Moon, 1st pada, Navamsha Aries, 3rd house. Moon in 10th house, Vishaka Nakshatra, 1st pada, Navamsha Aries, 3rd house. Natal chart expression, outer function, Moon in Libra, Vishaka 1st pada. In the 10th house, the moon becomes highly visible to society, emotions are public-facing, and professional identity is closely tied to emotional cycles, image, and popularity. Being placed in Vishaka Nakshatra, ruled by Jupiter, this moon is goal-oriented, ambitious, and persevering, driven not by fleeting fame, but by a deep yearning to accomplish something meaningful. Vishaka's dual rulership by Indra and Agni infuses Maria with competitive fire and spiritual fervor. The 1st pada of Vishaka falls in the Aries Navamsha, which intensifies the emotional tone. She is not just emotionally ambitious, but fiercely independent in emotional expression. There is a tendency to push through discomfort, emotionally or professionally, in order to reach an envisioned summit. Libra brings diplomacy and balance, but Vishaka's Jupiterian core and Aries flavor adds powerful determination, making her someone who publicly champions values or justice-oriented missions, is seen as both graceful and strong-willed in leadership roles. May experience emotional tides in career success, as public image and inner validation must align. Navamsha chart expression, inner nature, Aries, third house. With the moon in Aries, Navamsha, the emotional core is self-driven, assertive, and responsive to challenge. In the third house, there is a strong emotional connection to communication, movement, writing, siblings, or networks. This placement fosters bold emotional expression, even if not always refined. A deep need for emotional self-assertion, possibly through speaking, publishing, or influencing others in public domains. Restlessness. Maria's heart must initiate, or she feels suppressed. While Libra seeks harmony, Aries inside desires autonomy and action. This creates a subtle but intense duality, a poised public figure with inner urgency, especially regarding voice and influence. Psychological synthesis. Maria's emotional security is tightly linked to her professional visibility and meaningful progress. She needs to feel she's earning respect, not through hierarchy, but by bold, values-based leadership. Can suffer burnout or mood swings if she suppresses either side, graceful diplomacy or raw action, Aries. Karmic lesson, to harmonize the outer peacemaker and inner trailblazer. To lead not by dominance or people-pleasing, but by emotional integrity, where what she feels, says, and does are in alignment. Summary. Moon in the 10th house in Vishaka brings Maria a compelling public emotional identity. She thrives in professions where emotional resonance, leadership, and righteous ambition combine, such as media, law, advocacy, or healing leadership. Her inner Aries tone gives courage and entrepreneurial fire, while Libra's stage allows her to perform grace under pressure. 11th house, Ketu in Scorpio, Jyeshta Nakshatra Ketu, 3rd Pada, Navamsha Aquarius, 1st house. Ketu in 11th house, Jyeshta Nakshatra, 3rd Pada, Navamsha Aquarius, 1st house. Natal chart expression, outer function, Ketu in Scorpio, Jyeshta 3rd Pada. In the 11th house, Ketu becomes a force of detachment from societal reward structures, money, fame, group recognition, and large-scale networking. This placement implies that Maria may unconsciously reject the typical routes to success or feel alienated within group structures, especially if they don't align with deeper soul truths. Jyeshta Nakshatra, ruled by Mercury, is associated with the elder sibling archetype, endowed with strategic acumen, emotional protectiveness, and a deep-rooted sense of responsibility. However, Ketu here indicates that past life mastery in secrecy, leadership, or emotional control now needs to be dissolved. The 3rd Pada of Jyeshta lands in the Aquarius Navamsha, further emphasizing a karmic disinterest in elitist circles, power cliques, or networks with rigid hierarchies, a desire to serve humanity at large rather than indulge in specific group dynamics, an inner conflict between strategic secrecy, Jyeshta Scorpio, and transparent service, Aquarius. There may be an aversion to power-based friendships or a tendency to attract unusual or unconventional social alliances that come and go without clear explanations. Navamsha chart expression, inner nature, Aquarius, 1st house. In Navamsha, Ketu falling in the 1st house in Aquarius reflects a strong soul memory of individuality, eccentricity, and humanistic ideals. There is a psychic withdrawal from egoic identity, meaning Maria may feel different from others, even among friends, naturally anti-authority or aloof in group settings, detached from building a concrete personal identity in favor of invisible contribution. This lends to a paradox. Externally, she detaches from the group, 11th house, but internally she's seeking to embody Aquarian values, innovation, nonconformity, and humanitarian focus. Psychological synthesis. Maria may unconsciously reject traditional ideas of friendship or social networking, preferring soul-aligned bonds. Past karmas involving abuse of group power, control, or manipulation, Jyeshta Scorpio themes, may surface now as a withdrawn or hyper-aware approach to belonging. There's emotional wisdom from past lives that must now serve the collective, not be hoarded. Karmic lesson. To transition from elite detachment and hidden power, Scorpio Jyeshta, toward open, collaborative elevation of all, Aquarius. Ketu's presence here asks Maria to dissolve egoic goals in favor of unattached contribution, without craving group validation or alienation. Summary. Ketu in the 11th in Jyeshta brings Maria a quiet yet penetrating awareness of the shadow side of social systems. She may avoid fame, attention, or success, not out of fear, but due to subconscious soul fatigue with worldly rewards. However, the Aquarian Navamsha suggests her inner purpose lies in becoming a channel for reform, innovation, or future-facing ideals, regardless of whether she's publicly seen. This is a placement of silent revolution, not loud rebellion.